from Los Angeles, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
Oh, God.
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No. I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You got to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. Well, this from the MSNBC website, and a lot of you guys are going to bristle when you hear this one. As the mother of 7-month-old Shelby, Senator Debbie Wasserman Schultz, no hyphen, you're Senator Debbie, knows how complicated changing a diaper can be when you're away from home. Now she's sponsoring a bill that would make restaurants and hotels install diaper-changing tables in both women's and men's restrooms. It might seem trivial to some, she said, but if you've ever had to change a baby on the floor of a restaurant and have people stepping around you and dealing with the difficulties of that, it's a real problem. New mom Marcia Bremer thinks it's a great idea, especially having changing tables in the men's room. Yeah, because you can send your husband in to do the dirty work. Yeah, great. Nag him. Something new to nag him about. Will you take her into the bathroom and change her? Will you take her in there, please? Will you take her in there? One restaurant owner says, frankly, an upscale eatery is no place for a young child, and he doesn't appreciate government butting into his business. Restaurant manager Matthew Lipman agrees diaper changing and dinner don't always mix. He said, in fine dining establishments where families don't usually bring their kids, I wouldn't say it should be a requirement. With 42,000 restaurants licensed in Florida, the critics say it will probably not be practical to require all of them to install changing tables. The legislation, if approved, would require new restaurants or public lodgings licensed after January 1st to have diaper-changing tables in men's and women's restrooms. Existing restaurants or public lodgings would have to have the tables installed when they renew their license. This is an outrage, and I'm going to tell you why. You know what? There are restaurants that don't want babies in there. They don't want them. And I don't think they should be forced to put diaper-changing tables in the bathroom. You know what? If people want diaper-changing tables so badly, they'll go to the restaurants that have them. So why can't the businesses that want to provide that service provide it, and the rest of them say, no, we don't want to provide? Why? This is a stupid bill. It's absolutely outrageous, and I can't believe that it would be considered. That's like the moron we have here in Sacramento who's trying to legislate parking. This is not a voluntary thing anymore. Trying to legislate parking spaces for pregnant women. It's the same kind of pandering. It's outrageous. Having a baby is a lifestyle choice. It's a decision you make. As far as I'm concerned, if a restaurant wants to make it easy for you to bring a baby in there, McDonald's certainly does that. Burger King does it. Wendy's does it. I've seen diaper-changing tables in those places. They cater to families. And they want to make it as easy for families to come in there as possible. Great. God bless America. But if a restaurant where it's $150 a person to have dinner doesn't generally cater to families, doesn't generally cater to children, maybe in some ways they want to discourage people from bringing babies. As far as I'm concerned, McDonald's, yes, babies, fine. The Palm, Morton's of Chicago, any of those places? No, wrong, out. Chuck E. Cheese, yes. The Ivy, no. and I want babies in there. I think it's pretty outrageous to even consider suggesting that this be mandatory. Diaper changing stations are a convenience. You know what? If you want to require this, why don't you require it of taxpayer-supported places like airports? How about government office buildings? You want to do that? Great. But why should private business owners be forced to subsidize something like this, huh?
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-866.
Excuse me while I scratch my balls.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Jennifer on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
How are you?
Do you care, darling?
Yes, I do.
I'm doing great.
You just pissed me off talking about this bill. Oh, my gosh. I worked at a fine dining restaurant, and we discouraged parents from bringing in their children. Do you know why?
Because people who are paying $200, $300, $400 on their check don't want to hear screaming babies. They don't want to smell dirty diapers.
It's not only that. It's that they're paying for a babysitter to take care of their children so that they could go out to a nice dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make sense that they would pay for a babysitter to take care of their children, then they go out to a nice dinner, and now they have to sit next to a crying baby? It doesn't even make sense.
People who are too goddamn cheap to hire a babysitter. Or too lazy to find one.
No, they do, and they go out to nice dinners, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, we don't even, in our restaurant, we didn't have high chairs available. We didn't have baby seats available. Why? Because we didn't want babies in there.
Perfect.
So
if people don't like it, they'll go elsewhere. That's it. That's where you want them to go.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The bill makes no sense at all. It won't pass.
I hope not.
I hope not, too.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate the call. Joe on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Normally I'm with you on the pro-kid legislation opposing it, but think about the case here. You're going to have a dirty, smelly baby butt on the kitchen, on the sink in the bathrooms otherwise. So I'd have to support this because, that's...
Well, that's the problem with the restaurant. The government should not be getting involved.
Well, that's true. But the alternative is really bacteria infested.
Well, you know what? All restaurants that I know of in major cities have to answer to the local health department.
That's true.
And if the sink is like that, they'll be inspected and they'll get nailed for it.
That's true.
Well, why should they have to make this expenditure? By the way, if they're concerned about dirty sinks, they'll do this voluntarily.
That's true, and a lot of although here's probably the next step in this legislation is bathroom attendants will have to change baby's diapers.
Well, the point is that this is none of the government's business, none of their business.
I agree. So, but either way, I won't be, in this particular case, I won't be bummed. But you're right. In general, government's got to stay out of stuff like this.
Joe, thank you. Christian on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Okay.
All right, good. I am a father of a 3-year-old child, and there is no way I will ever take her to, like, a fancy restaurant like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, restaurants should be able to decide whether or not they put in changing tables, I guess, because, I mean, there are certain places that cater to, like you said, Chuck E. Cheese, McDonald's, that cater to family, and other places that, are catered to adults.
Right.
There's no way.
And what's next? They have to put playgrounds in. They have to have coloring books and high chairs. This is insanity.
Exactly. I mean, there is no. This legislature they should not pass anything like this.
I totally agree with you, Christian. Thank you, Lisa on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Over.
Your phone's cutting out there, Lisa.
Was it? Oh, darn it.
What, they give you free nights and weekends with that plan? What's it do?
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I totally agree with you with this one. I'm the mother of it, and the last...
All right, we're losing you, but thank you for trying. Justin on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Justin.
What's up, man?
Not much.
you know what? Some bitch gets in power and she instantly pops out a kid and she thinks she has to change the rules. Mm-hmm. And it's ridiculous. You know, I go out to a restaurant, I'm trying to, you know, hook up with some chick. Yeah. And I got some kids screaming in the background, and this chick starts thinking about, oh, babies, you know, and then what does that lead to?
Yep.
You know, I'm trying to score, and then there's some brats screaming in the background.
Oh, God, you know. I mean, restaurants are supposed to be places where you can romance somebody, get them to have sex with you, whatever.
Exactly. You know, I'm so sick of government thinking they have to stick their nose in when it comes to children and parents and catering to freaking people who decide they're going to have kids.
You know, I think small businesses should be able to decide on these things for themselves, and that includes things like smoking. You know, if a restaurant wants there to be no smoking, that's great. But why is the government interfering? I don't understand it.
Exactly. It's a choice made by people. It's not like somebody's handicapped, they got their leg cut off, and they're like that for life or something.
Right.
This is a decision, conscious decision made by two people to say, hey, I want a kid. Well, you know what? You're going to have to deal with the repercussions.
You are absolutely right, Justin. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Rod on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hi,
Long time, first time.
Thank you.
Anyway, I own a restaurant in Chino, California, and let me tell you, I do not like kids. They're a mess on the floor as it is. Why do I want a mess in my bathroom? Women are usually dirty when it comes to bathrooms. Mm-hmm. And it's ridiculous that we have to even try to cater to this. Yeah. You know, if they want to change the diapers, take it to the car. They're not in my shop. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel.
I totally agree with you. Look, if there are restaurants that want to do this, they want children, parents to bring their children in. They want to cater to kids. If they want to put a diaper changing table, that's fine. I won't eat there, but that's fine.
That's fine. You know what? I go to restaurants not for kids. And when I get kids on next to me, I'd rather move somewhere else because, you know what? Frankly, I like to go to a restaurant and I like to treat myself well. Uh-huh. You know, spend $20, $30 a meal, depending on what mood I'm in. I don't want to deal with a kid. I don't want to deal with someone. You know, they should have left them at home. And, you know, I agree with a lot of the topics you bring up, and I think this is a really, really hot one right now, especially me being an owner of a restaurant.
No doubt about it.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Rod. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Jared on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom. How you doing?
Okay, Jared.
I was just calling to comment on the fact that all the women in general should keep their nose out of anything dealing with government. I'm an old-fashioned type of guy that believes this country was founded by men and on men's principles.
And men pay for everything, and, you know, we've been running everything for a long time.
That is the God's honest truth.
And that's because most women want it that way.
That is correct. And I can tell you this because me, personally, I'm in the military, and the military is being ruined by women. Let's say I'm in a fighting position and I get shot. Is a woman going to carry me out of a hole? I'm 6'3", 215 pounds.
She doesn't want to break a nail.
No, she doesn't.
Or she's 5 feet tall and can't do anything.
That is correct.
Yep, I know.
But
by the way, the same thing goes for police departments, fire departments, sanitation departments, all you could almost call them paramilitary organizations that have forever been run by men who lift heavy objects and stink at the end of the day because they work so hard in the grit and the grime and they take risks that women are not willing to do.
That is correct.
And now you make the rules easier for chicks to get in. You lower the requirements. You have to have separate dressing facilities. Is it really worth it?
No, it's not. It's just the whole simple fact that women should be home pregnant, barefooted in front of the stove.
That's right.
So that is all I have to account on the whole matter. I appreciate your time.
Jared, thank you for checking in with a real male perspective there. Appreciate that. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Scott on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
I have two things real quick. What about the decision to put the baby changing deals and allow babies going to the nice fancy restaurants? Me and my wife have been married 5-6 years and made a conscious decision not to have kids.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, why should I have to, if we go out to a restaurant like you're talking about spending a couple $100, I want that to be nice and romantic for my wife.
That's
right. So that's, part of the reason I take my wife to nice places is to spend it with her
To have conversation, to sit over candlelight, to drink wine, to have great food in front of you like you don't normally make for yourself at home. No rice-a-roni, no shake and bake, no minute rice. I mean, you're looking at really good food. You're paying a lot of money for it. Maybe they've got piano music or jazz or something playing there, and you want to enjoy the whole experience.
Exactly. Now, the other one, did you say something about pregnant women? They're trying to pass a bill for pregnant women to have handicaps?
Doing that right here in California. If you can believe that, there's a legislator in Sacramento, our state capital, who is trying to institute a law that says that businesses will have to provide parking spaces, not just for the handicapped, but for pregnant women.
So why can't a doctor just give them a handicap plane? What are the handicapped parking spots even used for?
Well, the other thing is
anyway.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, the fact is, are pregnant women handicapped? Are they? Most pregnant women I know go to work until they're 8.5 months pregnant. They're handicapped now? Why don't we have spaces for fat people, or spaces for people on crutches, or spaces? I mean, come on, this is insanity. How about one-legged people? We can have spaces for them too.
And I work in kind of the healthcare. I'm a health educator, and last time I checked, I think pregnant women need exercise.
They absolutely do, because they eat like pigs, they look like pigs. A little walking wouldn't hurt.
Amen. Thank you, Tom.
Scott, thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM. Erica on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm calling about the baby diaper changing tables.
Yeah.
They are really horrible anyway. And I don't see why women would want to take their children into bathrooms and change their children on these. They're barely maintained. And to have to legislate people to keep a yucky changing table, that's ridiculous.
No doubt about it. Stupid. No doubt about it. Again, this is just politicians trying to pander to certain groups at the expense of a very large special interest group, restaurants.
Yeah, no, definitely. And these poor, restaurant owners, anyway, they pay so much money in, workers' comp and all these other things. And then all the
liquor licenses and employee turnover.
Yes, exactly. And they have to put in now baby changing tables that they have to have somebody who instead of serving food or actually catering to you is going to have to go clean those changing tables. Oh, forget it. Yucky.
Yeah.
No way. Okay, Tom.
Erica.
I really like listening to you.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Suzette on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Suzette.
I wanted to call and let you know, a lot of times you really irritate me, but this time you hit a button, and I totally agree with you. There is no reason these businesses should have to fork out their money for something like this, especially in really nice restaurants. And if people are so concerned about their kids' sanity or being sanitary, most places where you buy diapers, you can buy disposable changing pads that you should be using anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
So why are these businesses going to have to be forced to do that? And the same thing with the parking spaces. I'm sorry, a lot of businesses do that as a courtesy, but this shouldn't have to be required.
By the way, I park in those spaces.
Thank you.
I don't give a rat's ass. If somebody's pregnant, that's their choice.
And I've been...
And you got to compare being pregnant to being a quadriplegic? It's outrageous.
It absolutely is. And I've been pregnant. I've got my kids, and I hated that when people treated me like, oh, well, dear, don't do this. Let me do this for you. Stop it. I'm pregnant. I'm not handicapped. Excuse my language.
Well, I have no choice. Thank you for the call, Suzette.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles, 1-800-5800-TOM. Florida lawmakers are considering making diaper changing tables mandatory in all restaurants or restrooms, not just women's rooms, but men's rooms. Mandatory. Outrageous. Aaron on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
Hey, what's the big deal about having diaper changing tables if you got mandate, have smoking? Why can't you have a diaper changing table?
What?
Well, it's just as much of a choice to have a kid as it is to smoke.
Well, no one said that a restaurant should provide cigarettes to its customers.
No.
This is making the restaurant spend money to provide this service.
I'm not saying the restaurant has to provide a kid either. But you got to provide a smoking area.
No, but you don't have to in all states. In fact, in California, you can't smoke at all in a restaurant.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily disagree with that, but there's nothing to say why you can't have a...
By the way, I do disagree with it. I think that should be up to the restaurant.
Well, it could be, but yeah. Either way, I mean, if they've got to have a smoking area or not, what's the difference?
What do you mean? I don't understand what you're saying.
What's the difference between having a smoking area and not having, or having a diaper changing?
The difference is one costs money. I don't know how many hundreds of dollars it will cost to fit each restroom with a diaper changing table. That's number one. Number two, most expensive restaurants do not want young children coming in there. They don't want babies in the restaurant. And they don't want to encourage people with facilities that make it easier to bring babies.
Yeah, but I'm a well-to-do person in Dallas. Why can't I go to where I want to go?
Well, guess what? If there's a restaurant that wants to cater to you, God bless America. I'm sure somebody will. But why should restaurants be forced to do it?
For the same reason that they're in most states are forced to have smoking.
But they're not forced to have smoking sections. In fact, that's not true. What happens is if they allow smoking, they have to segregate it off. But they're not required to allow people to smoke. Restaurants, in states where smoking is allowed in restaurants, the restaurants have a right to say no smoking in our restaurant.
Oh, sure.
At all. They don't have to provide an area. Now, the point is the business gets to make that decision.
Well, true. And if they... I mean, I'm not saying they got...
And that should be the case with diaper changing tables. If a restaurant wants to encourage people to bring babies in, and they want to make it easier by providing these facilities or spaces for pregnant women or whatever, fine. But if they don't want to cater to that audience, why should they be forced to?
I don't agree with the spaces for pregnant women. They need to walk anyway. But you know, as far as just having a kid, I mean... having somewhere to change them, it's much more...
Well, then go to restaurants that have the facilities you need.
But how do you know?
Why don't we tell Chinese restaurants they have to sell hamburgers in case people come in and don't like Chinese food?
But
how much do you want to interfere in these businesses? It's outrageous.
You want to go to?
What?
Why should... How do you know as a consumer which restaurant's going to have a...
Believe me, I'm sure you could call, just like you call a restaurant to say, can I make a reservation? How late are you open? How late are you serving tonight? Do you accept MasterCard? You could ask if they have a diaper changing table.
Yeah.
Most people call the restaurant before they go. If that's really important. Well, that's what happens when you only eat at the Sizzler, pal. Believe me, if you're eating at a good restaurant...
Oh, we do around here.
You call first. I know Dallas has many great restaurants. Believe me, I've been to Dallas, and I'm telling you, I've eaten at restaurants that take reservations, Aaron. You got to pay more than $20 for dinner.
Well, I do.
I mean, for God's sake, Sonny Bryan's Barbecue, which is
one
of the great barbecue places in America, they take reservations, and I've been there, and I know it. Huh?
Papa Do's. They don't take reservations.
Well,
they're a good place.
Yeah, but come on.
$30 a person.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you call Morton's of Chicago and see if you can walk in without a reservation?
But even so...
if you're paying $20 for dinner, they don't take reservations.
Even if, I do make a reservation, and I come in with my kid. Why shouldn't they have to have a changing table there for my kid?
No, why should they have to do it?
But I'm telling you, it's a whole lot more sanitary for me to put my kid on.
You know what? That's their problem. And by the way, if a restaurant doesn't have a changing table, they're trying to tell you something. Don't come in here with your kid. And by the way, the rest of us who go to nice restaurants, we don't like it when you bring your kid. We don't like it. We don't like paying $100, $125 a person to sit down at a candlelight dinner and have your goddamn kid sitting in a high chair with a coloring book. We don't like it. Crying and whining, and then finally you get sick of it yourself and decide to unleash the kid on the rest of the restaurant as he runs up and down the aisles terrorizing everybody. We don't like it.
Well, that's the minority, not the majority.
No, actually, I don't agree with that. I think in America, children are the worst behaved when going to restaurants of any country I've ever been to. Ever. And I've traveled.
Yeah, so have I. I'm a pilot.
This is the worst country in the world. People are so sick of being... First of all, the reason people go to restaurants and bring their kids is because they're sick of sitting home with the kid. So they go to the restaurant, and the kid is there, and the kid starts acting up like he does at home. How many parents lift the kid out of the high chair and just say, why don't you just go run around? And the kid runs around the restaurant. You tell me you've never seen this?
I've seen it once.
The parents get so fed up being around these crumb crunchers that they finally just unleash them on the rest of humanity.
No, I don't release mine. I mean, I keep mine in check.
Yeah, does your kid cry ever?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But how many people did you terrorize with your child when he was crying?
Not many. We usually tried to get him out of the restaurant. If he started...
You try, but sometimes you don't succeed, right?
We would take him out.
Sometimes.
Well, you betcha. We would take him out.
Sometimes.
I mean, we don't...
And in the meantime, we have to hear the kid crying until you get him out of the restaurant. You know what? You're a cheap bastard if you can't find a goddamn babysitter. You know, if you can't afford a babysitter, you can't afford to go out to eat, pal.
No, not at that age. I mean, at a small age, that you need to bring him with you.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. And I want you to know the rest of us really hate it. Hang on a second. Bill, what do you want to say to Aaron here?
Yeah, I want to say this guy is killing us. I mean, what kind of pussies did we become in the last 200 years from, coming over the mountains and everything, harsh winters to survive to, I need a changing table for my baby. I mean, come on.
Not to mention you're so henpecked, you're so pussy-whipped.
Exactly.
That your wife is going to send you into the men's room to change the diaper.
Tell Aaron to take his...
And then after that, when she has her leftovers wrapped like a little tinfoil swan, and you're standing outside the ladies' room holding the swan while you're waiting for her to come out of the ladies' room, and you got her purse on one arm, you pussy.
Exactly. Aaron, you want to know the restaurants that want you guys in there? The McDonald's, the Burger Kings, they put those things in there for you guys because they know you'll come there to eat. Stay there. We don't want you to come to the nice restaurant.
Take your kid to the Outback for a bloomin' onion and leave the rest of us alone.
If you come to a nice restaurant, take them out to the damn minivan and change them there. I don't want you changing them next to my table where I'm trying to eat.
I don't try to change them next to your table. That's why they should put them in the restaurant.
No,
or the
where are you changing them then?
You know what? When I'm in the bathroom, I don't want to smell your kid's diaper. It's bad. It's bad enough. It's bad enough sitting next to the guy who ate the chalupa, but I don't in the stall next to him. But I do not want to be in the bathroom with you changing that foul, rancid diaper. It's the worst.
Get them out. And Tom, you're absolutely right. If they don't have changing tables in there, there's a reason. They're telling you something. We don't want your kids at this restaurant.
Yeah, get the goddamn message.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800. Tom.
I don't think women understand how important fellatio is to most men. I don't think they get it.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Thank you for tuning in. It's Brian on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How you doing, man?
Hi, Brian.
Cool. Hey, I just want to comment on the whole restaurant thing. Whatever happened to a free market society in this country and letting businesses make their own decisions? You don't need to legislate changing tables or anything else. If I want to cater to strippers, then I'll do that. If I want to cater to grown men, I'll do that. If I want to cater to couples that want a nice night out, I'll do that. So I will define my own audience.
Of course.
Just like you do.
But that's exactly what you should be able to do. And if you want to have changing tables, great. And if you don't, great. And if you want to serve Caesar salad, great. And if you don't, great. And if you want to cater to smokers, great. And if you don't want anyone smoking in your restaurant, great. It's hard enough to run a small business in this country without some dopey, broad legislator coming in and telling you what to do.
Sure. Sorry about that, but the bottom line it comes down to, it comes down to, I think if you want to make a case for personal accountability in this country as a rule, you got to look at the fact that, you know what, everybody wants the government to take care of them, and it's bull. Take care of yourself and be your own captain. Go to your own restaurants to find your own, what you're going to do with your life, and don't let the government tell you who you should date, how you should screw them, and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
I understand completely what you're saying, and I completely agree with what you're saying, and I know many people who own small businesses, and I got to tell you something. I am very, very pissed off at this idea. You know, here in California, they banned smoking in bars and restaurants. Sure. Banned it completely. Now, you know what? The fact is that anybody who wants to smoke and go to a restaurant should be able to do that. And if there's a restaurant that wants to cater to those who don't, let them do it. Guess what? Some people tried no-smoking restaurants. You know what happened? People stopped coming. And when you go to a bar, people are not going. It's not a health club, for God's sake. It's not Gold's Gym. People are going in there to engage in risky, unhealthy, unsanitary behavior to begin with.
And that's American as apple pie.
Of course it is. The saloon goes back to the beginning of time, for God's sake. You go in, you smoke a ciggy, and if I'm not smoking, I know other people are smoking, because that's what they're in there to do. They're in there to pick up strangers. They're in there to booze. They're probably going to get in their cars and drive home. They take their car out of the parking lot and drive it home. It's unbelievable now. The government is going to tell little businesses how to operate. And the other thing that pisses me off is when the government forces small businesses to retrofit their bathrooms for the handicapped. That is also outrageous.
Yeah, I think you should be. I mean, you know, there's one thing being accommodating to your guest, you know, but it's another thing legislating it. You know, I mean, you suffer with, you know, people just, if as a business owner, you define who you're going to cater to, and if they don't come to your restaurant because you don't provide proper facilities that they're looking for, well, hey, that's the American way.
That's right. And you know what? If you're not providing the right facilities long enough and the business slides far enough, you'll start providing those facilities. But I would be willing to bet that most patrons at a good restaurant do not want people bringing their screaming little brats into the place while they're paying $150 a pop to sit there and eat great food and drink great wine.
Certainly. I would be honest, Tom, I'm a restaurant manager myself. I've been in the business. I've worked various scopes of the business, from casual dining to fine dining. And the one thing you look at, and that unfortunately people don't realize, if they can't contain their children, you go to a fine dining restaurant, let's say like a Pappas Brothers Steakhouse or something, where you're going to spend $150, you know, minimum a couple, minimum. And, you know, up to as much, you can buy a $5,000 bottle of wine if you want. Well, you go there, and your kids get out of line, they're going to flat ask you to leave.
Yeah, if I'm drinking a $2,500 bottle of Screaming Eagle, you better not have a baby crying in the background.
Exactly.
That'll be my last time in.
And let's face it, even if you go to a casual restaurant and you're paying, you know, $25 a meal, no big deal, just a casual dining experience, you know that you could cook that up at home for, you know, 1/3 the price. The value is built into the service and the atmosphere, and you don't want that being corrupted.
You are absolutely right. Brian, I really appreciate your call.
Tom Leykis.
Come on.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Being a man, having an orgasm is like taking a whiz. And for women, I think having a kid is like taking a dump. Okay, now let's just face facts. This is basic human desire, need, feelings, biology, all that.
The Tom Leykis Show.
1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. The Tom Leykis Show. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks, big part of our program. We appreciate it. Ricky on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Ricky.
You know what? I disagree with you on this one.
Why?
Because I do want a baby changing station at my favorite street joint, at my favorite bar. that way women won't be able to nag at us that we don't take the kids anywhere.
That's a very good point. I like it. Mayor on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tommy. I have to tell you, this extends beyond the restaurants. It's any time. Yeah. Let's just start accepting responsibility. They should have a handbook for spawning. If you're going to spawn, it's not the Lamaze classes they should be teaching. It's the responsibility of the kids in society after that. These people think that... when did we start kissing butt to people? I don't understand when this happened. I was 9 months pregnant mowing a lawn, and the women in my neighborhood in this affluent suburb of Chicago were ticked off at me. You can't do that. You can't do that. I said, why not? I'm healthy. I'm doing it. You can't do that. And this is the same thing. When did this get to be a Madonna deal? You know, people used to drop babies in fields. Animals have kids every day. It's no big deal.
No. People have talked about it as the miracle of birth.
Hello.
Yeah. That's like the miracle of defecation. I mean, it happens all the time.
Well, you know what? I never expected my husband to do garbage, all this stuff about, you know, and you know what? It permeates everything. When did Entertainment Tonight go from covering entertainment to telling me, I don't care if Gwyneth Paltrow got knocked up. I don't want to know what her baby's wearing. I'd love to hear her screaming when she goes through labor, because I know that ain't going to be pretty.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Well, as far as breastfeeding is concerned, that kid's going to starve to death.
Exactly. But
think about that. Gwyneth Paltrow having to feed a child with those pathetic AA cups.
But even, Tom, I work at a studio. We have tours there. We have an age limit, and the age limit is 12 and older. And there's a reason for that. And I can't tell you how many people call up and go, does that mean I can't bring my baby?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. And they don't understand. Well, no, because other people are paying, and I don't want them disrupted.
That's right.
And I just love you, Tommy, and I just would like to go out with a screaming orgasm.
I'll bet you would.
Oh, God. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
All right. You can send us an email. I read that stuff, you know. I literally go through and read all of them. Send it to me. The address is tom@blowmeuptom.com. tom@blowmeuptom.com. Or you can call our 24-hour-day comment line if you got comments about the show. You can leave them. We listen to that, too. 310-842-9592. That number again is 310-842-9592.
The Tom Leykis Show.